So our plan really is for Dr. Paul and I to, between us, engineer a few questions around some of the challenges that the people in HR face in getting the right people to be able to execute the business strategies and business plans here in Indonesia, to take what we all know and regard as tremendous opportunities in the context of the world, but in particular also in Southeast Asia as well. Perhaps I could begin with Ibu Nurul. Tell us some of the challenges you face at Cussons. Tell us a little bit about the size of your organization and where they're positioned, please, and the challenges you face in terms of acquiring and developing and retaining the right talent.
Okay, so thank you. My name is Nurul. So yes, I'm representing PZ Cussons in Indonesia. We are a British company. Our headquarters is in Manchester. So if any of you, so PZ is Patterson and Zocconi. So if any of you goes to Manchester University, there is a Yokonis building. So that is our founder. So in Indonesia, we are quite lucky because our brand presence is quite big in here, but our operation office in the other country is not so. We have in Thailand and Singapore in Asia. So that is basically our struggling. We are more struggle when it comes into the Asia business compared to Indonesia. So I will say when it comes into the talent acquisition, this is a very related to the business strategy and then the employment market, and of course this candidate pools. So the challenge in each country, each function, or even each level, it's totally different, I would say. So the key in here is how we can get the correct information. But of course, I mean, like now the environment is always keep changing. For example, what we currently have, this pandemic is really make us difficult to obtain the correct information. Again, so for me in here, the key in the talent acquisition is how we can get the correct information, the data research, or even if we don't have it, is how we can sense what happened in the market, and then we can adopt our people strategy accordingly. So that is the key. I mean, the key for us in adapting in all the changes in the dynamic of this environment.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd just like to bring in Dede of Group M, if I may. Again, just a quick intro to your organization. And then my question for you, Dede, is from your experience, is there any real difference between local and foreign university graduates when it comes to professional performance? Dede?
I think the audio is not connected yet.
Okay, is Ibu Indri there? Ibu Indri? Not yet. All right then.
Yes,
in that case,
Ibu Indri is here.
Is she? Ibu Indri, show yourself, please.
Yes. Wait a minute. Are you not able to see me?
Oh gosh, that's so bright. It's wonderful. Did you hear my question?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe yes, maybe no. Could you repeat it, please, Chris? Okay. Indri is here with the Prudential, and they have just celebrated their 25th, yeah, 25th anniversary of being active here in Indonesia. And if I am not mistaken, now the largest insurance company in Indonesia. So not just, it used to be largest international, now it's largest. So that's absolutely great. Indri, we're looking to just have a little look at the difference, in your opinion, between local graduates and foreign graduates in the context of their capability to support the organization. What are your own thoughts on that?
Okay, so thank you very much for the opportunity. I would say that, you know, I've been in many positions where I need to deal with the graduates, not just in Indonesia, but when I was in another role, handling the graduates in Singapore, Malaysia, and Philippines. So what I can share here, what is usually excellent and better for graduates coming from outside Indonesia, or I would say usually we call it the graduate from abroad, is their maturity, independency, and I would say maturity, independency, and helicopter view. I think this is perhaps an adaptations. So four are the key strengths that should be capitalized for any graduates coming from abroad. Maturity, I would say definitely, because you are far away from your parents usually. I would say the second is, helicopter view is really because most of the university abroad, I would say, is giving you an opportunity to see things not just about fixing solutions, but it's also giving a broader context, something that is not all university locally have that kind of capability. I think that's what I see. And the third is about seeing our independency. I think maturity and independency is things that, you know, you got it because you need to survive, you need to be far away from the family and adapting into the cross-cultural environment. I think those are what is something we could not have it here in Indonesia. But one thing that I think to make it balance on what is actually the strength of local that you need to also learn as an graduating from abroad is really deep in understanding the case. So when it comes into problem solving, the local graduates have more patience to go deeper and get the solutions from the root. So deeper is usually, I would say, generally is better for local, and wider and helicopter is better for the graduates from abroad. So I think it is not one by one, but I would say commonly like that. So I think what from the university of abroad here, or the students from abroad, what you need to what you need to still, I would say, is that in depending on what company you are joining, but if the company is the one who pay or who appreciate the depth when it comes into fixing the solutions, then it is something that the students from abroad need to adapt themselves into that needs. But if you are landing into the company who appreciate the helicopter, appreciate the independency, the maturity, then I think that's where you can expose your strength and be the best candidates or be the best contributors of the company. That's what I would.
Okay, thanks, Indri. That's a very, very fascinating insight, actually, and not one that I'd heard articulated in exactly that way before. Thank you. I'd like to bring in Aziz just at the moment, because I know that you've got very particular time constraints, Aziz, but I would like to hear from you, almost speaking on behalf of or speaking to our university panel. I know that you are significantly engaged at the moment in identifying opportunities for collaborations. But just in the wider context, as is, you've also visited when you were in a previous life. I know BritCham supported a visit program for you as well. So you have experience of the environment, you have experience of the education culture, and have looked fairly closely at some of the gaps as well. But what do you think, in your opinion, that our university panel should be trying to exploit most out of the new relationship with BritCham?
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for the intro. Thank you everyone for listening to me. Yes, I have to go in 5 minutes, as I have a call to, I think it's Azerbaijan, which illustrates the kind of work we do, and it's good to see a number of our clients around the virtual table. UK universities and our clients are looking at expanding their global footprint to meet a number of objectives. And we've heard just now around employability, around kind of the various skills that students who have an international experience bring to the local employers. And that's very high on the agenda of UK universities, particularly as part of their partnership, where it's trying to bring the UK experience to partners in Indonesia. Indonesia is seen as a very important market and a large untapped opportunities. But what we are seeing from our work is also looking at working with employers, not just that transactional academic partnership, but it's looking at those ecosystem. And it's interesting to see Stephen from Accenture, because one of the projects we've been involved with is Accenture in Latvia, where it's called Project 3000, where Latvia and the Ministry of Economy have identified that they need 3,000 computer scientists a year. And what Accenture and local universities have done is try to invite UK universities to come in to bring their expertise and understanding of how you embed employability into the curriculum and launch a large network of double degrees. And it's very much something that BritCham, given its connections with local universities, UK universities and employers, that would be very attractive and very interesting project that could be run with all the members in the chamber.
Thank you very much, Aziz, for pinpointing one particular way a collaboration can come about in Latvia, as you mentioned. And I have no doubt that as our conversations deepen with the HR departments of the companies that are BritCham members, we will also start to map exactly where the gaps are and which of our panel of universities are going to be best placed to be suppliers of that talent. Aziz, if at any stage you need to zip off, then you're excused.
I will in 3 minutes. Apologies.
Yeah, okay. Sorry for that. But thank you very much for joining us and taking the opportunity of introducing yourself. I'd like to go back to Ibu Nurul, if I can. Nurul, how do you go about solving your human resource challenges?
This is a good question. When we talk about human resource challenges, this is like we cannot just talk from one perspective. This is like many things that we need to be aware of and pay attention to. So let's say, for example, talent acquisitions, how we need to keep up with the market, but also understand that my industry is FMCG, and like it or not, the turnover in FMCG is always one of the top in the several industries. So how we can come up with that, and then with the salary benchmarking, how we are positioning ourselves, and then many things that we need to pay attention to. So yes, and like it or not, this have to be some comprehensive people strategy, whether when we acquiring new hire, the new graduates, the middle experience, or the executive, or when they already in the organizations. So yes, I would say our organization, we also investing, let's say, in the new graduates training, because like it or not, university is still the biggest employment market, I would say. So yes, I mean, like, we know, I mean, from this discussion, or even not from this discussion, there are a lot of gap between what the university can provide and what the industry needs. But we also understand that these graduates have the high quality, they have the raw material. So how we can invest to them, so that is what our organization is believe. So how we can have this on the job training, and also this maybe some leadership training, with the close supervision in the beginning. Usually our experience, by the year 2, maximum 3, they already fly high.
Okay. Dr. Paul, are you there? Paul, are you still with us?
You're still on mute, Dr. Paul.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Paul, Ibn Nurul, you drew that very, very simple analogy of, that you've got the best raw materials. Well, what are your thoughts on making sure that those raw materials become get the right balance and proportions in the ingredients, that the output becomes the right output?
Yeah, my reflection on the conversation so far, just particularly picking up on Indri and Nurul, is that actually, if you think about employability, we can talk about sort of tangible skills, hard skills, but actually what both those colleagues mentioned was the importance of, let's call them, soft skills. So leadership, big picture thinking, adaptability, building relationships cross-culturally. I mean, these are all soft skills. So I think my question, I think, probably to the university sector is what are they currently doing, or what could they improve in terms of developing that, let's call it that, preparation of whether they're Indonesian graduates or non-Indonesian graduates wanting to work in Indonesia and Southeast Asia, for example. What are those? What's currently on offer there in that space, and is there something that we can do together as a panel, as a team, as a focus group, to actually put together some programs which are going to help both parties?
Yeah, I think you hit on a very important point of Ibn Nurul's here, and that is that there's a lot of talent. They are talented, they're among the best, but they're still not ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how can we get them more ready? What can we do? How can we work together, universities with the private sector, so that perhaps there's less of a lead-in time for them being productive in the workplace? I think that's what businesses would really like, or that they can be better prepared for the culture within an organization that they're going to join.
And I think, Chris, there are also benefits in that for lecturers and professors in the university sector as well, because it may be that they will learn more in a more grounded, detailed way about what doing business in Indonesia and Southeast Asia actually requires, because it's sure to be different. It's sure to be different than working in the UK. So I think there's a number of benefits that could come from such closer working, closer production of programs to help that preparedness all round, preparedness for all colleagues. Yeah, education side, careers side, HR side.
Okay, so well, I've made a note there. I think there is a role there for the member focus group. Paul, definitely. Yeah. Nurul, I think we all accept that you don't fix things quickly. Things take time. They always do. But just a quick question, if you're able to answer this. How far ahead in your organization do you know what you are going to need in terms of what types of graduates in, let's say, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years? I mean, how you referred to strategy, and of course, every company has a strategy, but also there needs to be the agility to move and adjust the strategy based on circumstance. But how far ahead is your planning, actually, in terms of knowing what you will need?
Yes, and I do understand why you said that. Maybe if I can answer or not, because this one, I mean, what we learned from the past few years, the organization is always moving, it's always changes. I mean, regardless this pandemic or not, even before that, I mean, all organization must be thinking how to growing the business, how to make it more efficient. So that is, I mean, regardless the pandemic, there will always be some transformation happen, and how the HR can support that. So I would say, yes, this is a cliche, I'm sure. I mean, Ibu Indri from Prudential will also do that, but what we do is we strengthen the talent bench. So let's say in the talent, we know that there are space. I mean, like, okay, what is what is our business strategy? What is the plan? What is the scenario if this happen? If this happens, so, and then okay, how we can strengthen the talent bench in here. And then yes, I mean, like in the critical function, what we need, let's say, if we're looking for into the growing the business, let's say personal care. So how are we going to get the capability when we are going to grow the digital channel? How we can get the organization capability from the currently that we really don't have anything, or we already, okay, we have the endorsement from the CEO, and then okay, what next? So yes, hopefully I know it's quite broader and not really answering.
Sorry, that's absolutely fine. It was a difficult question. I put you on the spot. I do apologize. you know, Ibu Indri is smiling. I think I'll put her on the spot now just to get even for you, shall I? But the same question, Ibu Indri, just how far ahead is the planning, and with what degree of certainty do you know today that you might need in 2 or 3 years' time? Because without that sort of information, it is going to be difficult, isn't it, to
Yep.
have more specifically prepared output from the universities?
Yeah, thank you. It's a very challenging questions nowadays, especially during this pandemic that everything changed. The business landscape also changed. I would say the certainty is uncertainty itself. I just what makes me coming late is also because we just had a very as usual quarterly discussions with the headquarters. So I would say here that despite that the business is keep on being positive, especially we are in an insurance company, facing these pandemic situations. But when it's going to be turning around is the questions that no one perhaps able to answer, regardless whether they are coming from developing country like Indonesia or from developed country like other part of the world. When is the time to be, for us to turn around and at least have, even though not a normal, but somehow close to normal in terms of life, in terms of business, is questions that everybody have, but no one can answer that. But despite of all of those uncertainty, what is certain for me is what kind of people we need when the business wanting to turn around. I think that discussions more inspiring and more attractive for all of you guys. So I would say that I do believe during these pandemic situations, the best way for the company to do is to prepare their talent and to prepare their capability for the future. And that should apply as well for the students who are about to graduate next year or the following years. How we, every one of us, prepare that once the turning around happens, we are relevant, both as an individual as well as a company. I think that is the homework of everybody here, how to make sure we stay relevant when the time comes that we are either turning around or closer to the normal, or at least have an economic running in the countries. So that's, I think, what I would share the view of us. So when we are trying that we want to be relevant, then it comes back to what kind of capability that we need to develop, both as a company as well as an individual. I think nowadays, the biggest capability that is needed both for the company and for the individual is the capability to learn and to adapt. And we are going back into what Dr. Paul mentions about agility shift. It's all about the ability to adapt and to learn, because the future is uncertain. So if going back to the questions that Chris asked, what kind of strategy that we should do both for the company, for the individual, is making sure that we have those two ingredients as a capability or as a competency for us to stay relevant both during this pandemic and, more importantly, after the pandemic is over.
Thank you, Ibu Indri. That's excellent input. And I suppose an obvious question is, how do we assess whether those capabilities are actually with an individual or not? Edwina from University of York asks a question of Ibu Nurul, Ibu Indri, how employers would like key employment skills to be demonstrated. I guess it's proof of. Do students need a certificate? Do they need a reference letter? Do they need a statement from the university? How will you satisfy yourselves as a company taking on students that they actually have the skills that you need? Shall I ask Ibu Nurul first?
I'm a believer of this raw material. So sometimes, yes, I mean, the education world and industry world is sometimes it's totally different. So that's my learning all along. So sometimes, yes, the certificate is telling you the truth about this person, but some other time this certificate is so excellent, but it's in certain circumstances. Let's say the university's life or whatever, how the certificate issued by. So for now, yes, we do have sometimes on the agility and those kind of things, but we also have, how do I say, sometimes this one is we coming back to these basic evaluations. I would still say, let's say interview, that is still the biggest evaluations, even compared with all of those tests available there. This MBTI, this SAFIL, this SHL, or anything. So, but more important also is how this student, I mean, can adapt with the business process or in the culture of the organization, the dynamic, because like it or not, sometimes in the organizations, this is not only delivering your performance, but many of the organization dynamic that you need to manage. So that is also, I mean, part of how we can agile and everything, adapt with the new things, learn again about the new thing, reset our understanding sometimes. So I would say, if we talk about recommendation, maybe from some industrial internship that will be more beneficial for us in industry, because yes, I mean, when it comes into certificate or anything, sometimes the circumstances is just different.
Okay, Ibu Nurul, thanks very much. I won't ask you, Ibu Indri, because we're sort of timing out. But I think just at the end there, you alluded to something that probably anyone who's been in work and employed people for any period of time will know. The extended interview, which is the on-the-job experience or the internship, is the most valuable thing, isn't it, for both parties? So we certainly hope to be working very closely together with our members to identify what internship opportunities can be offered to provide you with a closer look at possible talent that you may want to recruit. We sort of have to bring things to a close at this stage. Paul, I'd just like to invite you to make any closing observations from the conversation that we've just had.
Well, I think it's incumbent on us to think of some next steps, isn't it? So I think probably, you know, that might require us all to go back and reflect from this conversation, and and from our own perspectives, and of course objectives as well, whatever they might be, in terms of our different roles across education and HR. And yeah, let's bring some, perhaps say some practical proposals forward to start improving the situation.
Okay, thank you very much. Ibu Nurul, Ibu Indri, thanks very much for joining us and meeting some of our new university panel. We hope we'll all have an opportunity to share views, opinions, insights, and ask questions and get some support from each other as well going forward. And so thanks very much to those of our universities that were able to give up their time today. We hope you found this useful. Do keep an eye on the information regarding the member focus groups. All that I would say to any new member of BritCham, and remind any existing member of BritCham, we are the most active chamber, we have the most platforms, there is great diversity of information, intelligence and access to different networks. It's for you to take advantage of everything we put out there, so please do keep an eye on things and take the opportunity to participate. With that, I'd just like to say thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of your, gosh, it feels like we've gone beyond Monday already. Enjoy the rest of your Monday in the UK, and a pleasant evening to everybody that's in Indonesia or Southeast Asia. Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Jenny, team. By the way, Jihan is the GG. Yeah, if in case you were wondering, Jihan, GG. Okay, and Arin and Asti for smoothly navigating us through this event. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.